People are suffering. There are a lot of folks out there right now that are feeling financial pain. They're feeling financial distress. I got a phone call yesterday from a friend in the industry, and he, she, they, or them, and I'm very intentionally not going to identify who this person is, but this person proceeded to tell me that they are feeling tremendous pain. They are experiencing tremendous financial stress right now. They've been shopping for a home for a long time. They know exactly which neighborhood they want to be in, and they have been sitting on the sidelines, ready to pull the trigger as soon as they can find the right home and the right deal. And for the last few years, they have been renting. And they were perfectly happy and content with that arrangement for a long time because they thought they would find the right deal. And thus far, no deal has revealed itself. And since then, rents have exploded. Their rent, which used to be under market, and frankly still is under market, has increased by over $1,000 year over year for several years. And I know these folks relatively well. These are hard-working folks. These are people who make over $250,000. And yet, at the end of the month, they are feeling tremendous fear and tremendous financial distress because at the end of each month, they're barely getting by. And they're starting to feel desperate. And I want to help these folks. I would love to help them find an off-market deal or really any deal that would help their situation. But the housing market does not care. The housing market does not have feelings. The housing market has yet to provide the deal that they're looking for. And to be totally transparent, the landlord of the property that they're renting is actually being quite generous. The landlord has not jacked up the rental price to what the current market is. Because if they did, they would squeeze those tenants right out of the house, which would materially change the lifestyle of my friends. They would be totally screwed because they've put down roots. They're in the neighborhood they want to live in. They've made tons of friends. Their business is here. Their kids go to school here and all their friends are here. If they got squeezed out, they would be hurting for certain. And truthfully, this landlord is a bit of a unicorn because most landlords are only interested in maxing out the rental income. Most landlords are running a business. They are certainly not running a charity. But even the best landlords must do what they must do. They must cover their ass. And the truth is, home insurance rates have gone so high that they have to raise their rental prices. And property taxes have skyrocketed in many places. So landlords must raise the rental prices in order to keep their head above water. And having been a landlord, I know the value of what a good tenant is. If you've got a great tenant, the last thing you want to do is displace them. As a landlord, of course, I want to get the most return for my rental property. But the value of a good tenant is immeasurable because it only takes one bad tenant to completely destroy your rental property. And so at some point, there is some mental financial gymnastics that one has to consider when determining what their rental price is going to be, because I would prefer a safe, reliable tenant who I know for certain will make the payment and not destroy the place over a few extra dollars with someone who might be higher risk. And while I wish I had a good off-market solution for my friend, the truth is, right now, I don't. But it chills me to the bone. It gives me great pause. It gives me great concern. And it scares me to realize that I know folks who have a combined income of over $250,000 and have a family of 3 kids, and they can barely make ends meet. And these are not folks out there with a jet-setting lifestyle. These are regular folks. And even with a high income, at the end of the month, their bank account is running on fumes. And having been a stockbroker during the great financial crisis of 2007, 2008, I remember the fear and uncertainty that existed in the markets. And right now, while there is concern and there are certainly feeling pain, there is not a lot of fear that exists within the consumer, within the markets. Homeowners feel wealthy. They're sitting on a metric shit ton of equity. And if you've been watching for a while, you know that I talk about following the leading market indicators. And as a boots on the ground operator of a high performance real estate team, I can get caught in my lane looking through the agent lens and only seeing the agent narrative. And to be clear, I could get caught looking through that lens. I don't get caught in that lens. Instead, I question everything and I look at the market through every lens that I possibly can. And here's the truth that most agents won't tell you because they don't even know it exists, which is that in the state of Florida, personal bankruptcies are up 11% so far in 2023 versus the same period in 2022. And the car repo market is skyrocketing. There are north of 22,000 car repossessions that happen every day across the country. And the banks aren't realizing those losses. And you may remember when the stock market crashed the last time, they talked about mark-to-market accounting. Well, these repos are not hitting the balance sheet. They aren't hitting the market. The losses aren't being realized. But when the banks do realize those losses, the banks are going to be undercapitalized. The banks will have a liquidity crisis, and those banks will require a bailout, or the banks will fail. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Because if you've been watching for a while, it should. And while the latest numbers that have been reported by the Florida Realtor Association do not indicate any real uptick in distressed sales, a quick look at foreclosure.com reveals there are almost 5,900 foreclosures in Palm Beach County. And I would encourage you to do some due diligence and check out your local property appraiser site. Because if you do, I suspect you will find that there is a full docket of auctions that are scheduled out up through February of 2024. And the homeowners whose properties are being auctioned off did not start yesterday. They started years ago. But none of those auction stats are making it onto the Florida site, which completely underrepresents what the distressed market actually is. And almost no real estate professional is talking about it because they simply don't know about it. And instead, they want to tell you how it's not like 2008 all over again. And yet, almost every day, I get an email touting the latest and greatest low or no money down mortgage product. And I hope that sounds as bad to you as it does to me. Because if you ain't got no skin in the game, chances are you ain't got no skin in the game. And that is no bueno. But make no mistake, financial distress is on the uptick and people are suffering. And while I don't want that to be the case, I can tell you it's only getting worse. Now, I hope you found this content valuable, and if you did, please subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and if you're even thinking about buying or selling because it's right for you, then please reach out because we would love to help. And please check me out on Twitter where I can never be censored. Follow me on Patreon where I go off, and check out my next video because I suspect you will love it a lot. And until next time,